So this lesson, I'm going to demonstrate how to shade teeth. Teeth is one of the little bit more difficult things to handle, but once I show you how, it should be easy to go. Okay, so first of all, I have gone ahead and drawn a mouth. I'm just using this picture of Beyonce as reference. And we talk about math a lot when we're drawing because, of course, the first thing we do is look at proportion. So it's really important when you are drawing teeth, the front two teeth are the same width and they are the largest teeth. And then they get the next tooth over is proportionately smaller. So you've got to make sure you aren't drawing these all the same size. If you do, it makes it look like they've got a mouth full of chiclet gum or something. So they have to get smaller as they go back. Watch for that. Okay, so I've already gone ahead and just kind of shaded the lips a little bit. So at this point, I'm going to do what I always do. I'm just going to lighten up all those lines. Get rid of the outlines. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is you notice when you look at the photo of Beyonce that you can see the gums along the top. And so that's the first thing you do is you're just going to go in and lightly shade. And even though when you look at her gums that they go darker on the bottom, a little lighter on the top, we don't want to draw too much attention to the gums. It's not something we really think about that much, but by going in and coloring in the gums at the top of the teeth, you start to give them the shape. The other thing to do is to go along the bottom. Now her lip is touching pretty much at the bottom, but this is where you get all the shape. So you go in between those two front teeth, and I'm going to darken that, and then I'm going to go along the bottom, and then in here I'm going to get that little space, that gap. Again, teeth also are rarely rectangles either. They usually have little dents. You can see them when you look at her mouth in between. So this is how you define the shape. Just going to go along the bottom here. And now the teeth will start to pop up. What you don't want to do is this. I'm going to go back in and put the lines in. When you put the lines in between the teeth, it's cartoony, it flattens them, all the things we've discussed. So I'm just going to go and erase the line. You can have a little bit of a line at the bottom or the top if you want. This is how when we did noses and I was like, just never go the shading all the way from the top to the bottom. Leave the middle open and that'll work. Okay, so now we've done the math, we've defined the shape, we've started to give some form, but not really. These teeth are looking pretty flat. So at this point, I'm just going to go and shade a little bit because teeth actually round a bit on the sides. So you got to watch it. If you're using a smudgy, you need to try it out first to make sure it's not too dark because you want this to be pretty light. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick one side and I'm just going to go in and slightly shade in between the teeth. Again, you don't want to do this too much. Okay, so just a little bit at the front. Now, as you get around to the back, one of the ways, of course, of showing things around, this goes right back to cylinders, is getting a little darker on the side. So as you start to go back into the mouth, you can go ahead and start shading a bit darker in here. In fact, often the teeth will be in shadows by the time they get back into the mouth. Okay, so watch your math, make sure that they are proportional, that they're getting smaller as they go back. No lines going around them all. Make sure that there's no lines in the center area here. Get your shading down here at the bottom and just make sure the gum line is fairly light. And again, no lines on the top of the teeth.